Josh and Alex bring the fire, no doubt. Fun facts roaring, making headlines shout. Sports pro wrestling with a punch and a spin. Warrior fuel coursing through their skin. Headlines screaming hot off the press. Facts and figures they never second guess. Cutting through the noise, sharp as a knife. Slash tracks news, it's more than just life. Slash tracks coming at you full speed, no brakes. Horror in action, they're raising the stakes. Jumping just as yup, you don't wanna miss. Tony laughs hard, this is pure bliss. Slash tracks ready, set, let's go.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Slash Tracks Action News. I'm Alex Vanover.
And I'm Josh LaRue.
We have a very full episode of Slash Tracks News tonight. Episode 6 is going to be, maybe, dare I say, the greatest episode that we've ever done. Of the 6, this is going to be the GOAT episode. What do you think, Josh? How are you feeling about tonight?
That's why I'm celebrating tonight with an ice-cold Crystal Pepsi, 30th anniversary edition. Right there, buddy. Breaking up the fine drink for this.
That's like opening a bottle of Cristal. The equivalent for the 80s slasher librarian is he opens the bottle of crystal clear Pepsi, which is what I used to get after a third grade basketball game if we did well. It was delicious. I loved it. I still, when they release it, for specialty, time frames or whatever, I always try to stock up. But we haven't had any in Oregon in a couple years.
Yeah, they were going to do it, they released it in 2016, 17, and 18. Then Canada in 19. They were going to do it 20 and 21, but COVID set them back. They just gave away 300 people 6 bottles back in January with a Twitter hashtag contest. I did not win one. I didn't know about it till it was over, or I would have won 2 sets like I did 2 ecto coolers, by God. But I bought this off eBay for a price that I'm not proud of.
You're like, had I known about the contest, I would have been setting up burner accounts left and right, man.
It worked with Ecto Cooler. I got 2 of those suckers, but I did pay an outrageous price for this bottle, like $20 for 1 bottle of Crystal Pepsi. But I had to have it. But this summer, man, it's coming back from June until September. If you're a fan of Crystal Pepsi, get out there and stock up. You can also get Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew right now. I've got one. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to pop that open. Maybe on the next podcast I can try Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew.
Wait a minute. Flaming Hot Mountain Dews are like Flaming Hot Cheetos?
Yes, there is a Flamin' Hot. Want me to show it to the audience?
Yeah. Let's take a look. Do you have it close to you?
Yeah, it's right over there. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wow, breaking news, guys. Flaming Hot Mountain Dew is about to make an appearance on the episode right now. We're still waiting. Way longer than 6 seconds. He must be taking a toot off the bottle. Here it comes.
And I got one for you, too, so I can just send it to the screen. Is that what I can do?
Yeah, give me one. Send one of those over here.
Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. There you have it, right there. It's a
what the hell? What's the calorie count on that can right there?
170.
Okay, so almost like, yeah, that's just like a normal Mountain Dew.
You want to know how many is in the Crystal Pepsi?
220? Is that about 250.
Right? 250.
An extra 30 calories than normal Pepsi because it's 30 calories extra good. 30 it's translucent. It has no color to it, but the 30 extra calories actually eviscerate the caramel color.
They actually have the opposite of this as well, called Cool Blast, Mountain Dew Cool Blast, I think.
Yeah. And
it's like a cool melon flavor. Like I think it's got some type of like menthol cooling effect on your throat when you drink it.
Wow, and you can actually gargle with it, brush your teeth with it.
Yeah, you could do
Yeah.
that with like Coca-Cola and stuff. You might end up with fake teeth, but you could do it.
Clean your car battery cables with Coca-Cola. I've seen the tutorials.
I just hope this isn't like Flamin' Hot cheese flavored, because like usually Flamin' Hot has to do with like some type of like nacho cheese, Doritos,
Yeah.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Hot Fries.
Well,
Yeah,
hopefully,
there you go.
dude, hopefully it's nothing like space flavored Coke. Have you had that?
No, Beth wants to try it though.
Tell
It's
Beth.
like candy flavored.
No, tell Beth just to save herself some grief, because I had one. It just tastes like dirty mud puddle water. It's disgusting. What space flavor? They just made it up.
And yeah, it's like speckled. It's Starlight.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola Starlight.
It's like if an alien took a piss in a mud puddle and you just drank it right afterwards.
E.T. piss in can.
Yeah, like E.T. the extraterrestrial peed in a can and they just sealed it up and then sold it. That's your space flavored Coke right there. It's
It's got a
disgusting.
slight Reese's Pieces flavor to it.
If E.T. or the alien had asparagus for dinner that night, it would taste
Brussels
like
sprouts.
it would taste like whatever he ate, like the asparagus flavored, piss flavored space Coke. Since we're
Don't try
talking
the
about
coffee either. The coffee Cokes, those are horrible. But go ahead.
since we're talking about weird flavors of stuff, I saw one more thing. There's a Funyun flavored Mountain Dew. Did you see
Really?
this?
No,
I don't know
not.
if it's I don't know if it's real. I don't know if someone photoshopped it, so I didn't want to bring it up. But since we were already talking about this kind of stuff, I saw on Twitter that someone had posted a photo of them with a Funyun flavored Mountain Dew. I don't know if it's true, but it looks really interesting if it is. I don't even know how that flavor would go, because Funyuns are salty.
They go good with Mountain Dew. Like,
Yeah.
That's a stoner snack.
Yeah, salty and sweet. So I don't know how the actual saltiness would go with the Mountain Dew flavor. I don't know. I have no idea. But if it's real, I'd try it, I guess.
There's a Flamin' Hot Cool Ranch Doritos. That one doesn't make any
I saw
sense.
that. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. I think with the success of the tacos, the Doritos Locos Tacos at Taco Bell, they're just like, okay, this worked. There's a market for this kind of weird stuff. Let's just go all in on this and see what happens. I kind of think that's what's going on.
That's how we got there.
Yeah. We definitely jumped the shark, I think, with flavors and stuff. Because I bought, the other day, there's a market across the street, and sometimes I'll go buy my girlfriend and myself stuff for our cheat day on Sunday. It's like where we don't count our calories. We kind of eat whatever we want. And I bought this potato chip Reese's peanut butter cups. So it had cracked up potato chips in the Reese's cups. It was pretty good. It was interesting. It had but it was almost like there's not enough chips. Like you'd almost be better off if you just bought your own normal Reese's peanut butter cups and just put some Lay's in your mouth at the same time. I think you'd be better off.
Do you ever
than
put
buying
chips
the
on a
gimmicks.
sandwich?
Oh yeah, tuna fish sandwich or something like that. Yeah,
You put the chips on there? Hell yeah.
of course. Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, that's delicious.
I was going to tell you, the fact that I'm holding this right here
Yeah.
was proof that Crystal Pepsi was indeed coming back, because the way I heard about it was last August, the 2022 planner for Pepsi leaked online, like a list of all the products they were releasing. And right before Crystal Pepsi and Crystal Pepsi Zero on it, there was Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. And I was like, there's no way, that's fake. It's got to be fake. There's no way they're going to make a Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. I was like, damn it, Crystal Pepsi's not coming. But so the fact that this actually came out proves that leak was for real. So
Crystal Pepsi is like Pepsi's version of the McRib. They roll it out like every once in a while because they know it'll sell huge, and then
They
they
should
kind
do
of
it.
tuck it away.
yeah, they should do it every summer. 3 months out of the year, and then like High C should release Ecto Cooler around Halloween. Like seasonal.
I don't
think
know
they would make some good money.
I don't know why they don't just bring Ecto Cooler back. And they should. There's also cereals from our childhood that should just be back. Like Mr. T cereal was delicious. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many people watching our podcast right now are old enough to remember that cereal, but it was delicious. And also Smurf Berry Crunch. That was really good. Yeah, there were some really good cereals.
Dinosaur soup was good too, like Chef Boyardee, like the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but they had dinosaurs. It had like a cheesy tomato sauce.
That sounds pretty good.
Those are gone. Those were around when I was a kid.
Dude,
And Crystal Pepsi would probably sell if they just kept it around. It's not 1992 anymore. A lot of people like it. I think it would do better now.
well, now that the 90s are back, like everybody is dressing like it's the 90s again with their pants and like outfits and stuff. I think Crystal Clear Pepsi has a direct pathway to being successful at the market right now.
Yeah, I should have kept this one sealed. It's like the 30th anniversary thing. It's like it was,
What are you gonna
1992 it came out. So
What, are you gonna be buried with it? Just drink the son of a bitch and go get some more. Say la vie, Josh.
I've got a couple more, but all right. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Since we are doing the action news, do we have a mean tweet or a mean comment and a nice comment?
Yeah, we do. We started that out. This is a new tradition on the show, and we're going to start out. Do you want the good news or the bad news, Josh?
This time I want to hear the good news first.
Okay, all right. Nice comment of the week, and this was on the brand new episode of Trax, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, Trax episode number 27, which was released 5 days ago on the channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's up to 11,000 views, and we've got a lot of really nice comments. We've got a lot of really mean comments, but of the nice comments, I think this was the nicest one. This is from Das Dafwad. He says, "Had me laughing all the way through!" !
Awesome.
Pretty good, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So yeah. Good comment of the week, and I saw that, and I had a little hit of dopamine go through my body, and felt pretty good about it. But then, a few comments down the road, we encountered the mean comment of the week, which was Marat Vikhan. Another great name to pronounce that I butchered again.
It sounds like a villain from history.
He sounds like a Batman villain that, like, when they use the Joker or the Penguin or the Riddler too much, they're like, let's get Egghead, or let's get
Marat the Khan.
Yeah, let's get one of these weirdo random villains on the show just to break up the monotony of the Joker and Riddler being on every episode. So Marat says, "Where does the funny start?" ?
Maybe he just wanted a timestamp,
Yeah, exactly. And, like, we were dicks for not letting him know when we were going to start to be funny, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
There was a contender on one of them. One said, "Oh, how romantic, a couple's riff."
Yeah, I saw that. And also I saw another comment that said, "Who's the top and who's the bottom?"
Who's the power bottom?
Yeah, who's the power bottom? I was like, whoa. And then when I read that, I was like, that's really interesting, because you could say that about any show that has two hosts of the same sex. Yeah. Like, what? I don't, like, it's not really. So if you're commenting on us riffing, can we comment on your comment where you're trying to riff on our riff, you dick? Not that great. Any show that has two hosts, you could use that for. Not very original.
I mean, they should have thrown that one out on Freddy's Revenge, and then at least it would have made sense,
Yeah, we got torn apart for the Freddy's Revenge Trax episode because we didn't go hard enough on the homosexual aspects of the film.
We said straight up we weren't going to, because
it's been done 100,000 times, and the movie is, like, we understand that it's the gayest horror movie ever made, but at the same time, you don't need to bring up the same thing over and over and over again. Like, try to be original a little bit with your content or with what you're saying. It's like, we get it.
And we're not bigots, No.
So
there's a big part of it, too.
Yeah, we like people. We like every kind of people. We are very inclusive. So if you don't like that, kick rocks.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you later. All right, so let's get into some fun facts after that. That mean tweet got me fired up.
Let's do it.
And if we were a couple, we'd probably just switch off. I don't have to be the power bottom every night.
I generate a lot of power, sure.
we just flip a coin. Maybe I'd be the power bottom 3 times in a row, and maybe Josh would be. Who knows?
Flip each other.
Yeah, that's what friends are for.
You did say we got ripped apart on that one video.
Yeah.
Here's where the funny starts, by the way. Here we go.
Yeah, right now. Forget everything else. This is timestamp right now. Let's get into some fun facts. All right, Josh. During Prohibition, in the 1920s, vendors would sell grape concentrate bricks with warning labels that would say, do not mix the concentrate with yeast, and do not leave it to ferment for 21 days, because if you do, it'll turn into wine. So don't do that. Don't do it.
They were giving people tips, weren't they? I like that.
They were finding out a way to get around the prohibition by letting them know how they could make their own wine at home.
It's like what we did to Master Evil that one time. We sent him that fake letter, saying,
What the hell? What are you talking about?
Oh shit! There was an episode.
I know. Like where we wanted to see Ernest.
Yeah. Do not, whatever you do, you should really make these guys have to suffer through Ernest. Yeah. That's obviously what was going on. That's actually, I bet there was more of that than just that happening at the time. That's hilarious. And then if they got in trouble, it'd be like, hey, we're trying to warn people to protect them so they don't go to jail.
Yeah, we don't want them to do that, so we're telling them how to not do it. So by you even bringing that up, you're the one who's calling attention to it, so you're the bad guy.
And all you viewers, whatever you do not join the Patreon, because then we might have the money to have better quality equipment and put on better shows.
Yeah, and if we have better equipment and better shows, we'll have less mean comments about people talking crap about our mics and our cameras and everything. And then, who knows, if we have success, if we don't have success, maybe it won't go to our heads. So maybe that's the audience's way of keeping us level-headed. Yeah, keeping us grounded.
Got these amazing backgrounds, green screens.
Yeah, dude.
Green screens.
Next level, man. Josh, did you know that turkeys can reproduce without having sex?
I did not know that.
Me neither. Me neither.
Are you sure there's not just a bunch of, female turkeys going to bed at night, and, their husband just kind of slips in, slips out? And...
When I heard that turkeys can reproduce without having sex, I guess turkeys are capable of having fertility clinics, and they have fertility turkey doctors that, because if they're not having sex, what are they, freezing their eggs? What? They have doctors with highly intricate turkey hospitals and turkey labs, right?
Is there a Jesus turkey?
There's a Smurfette turkey. There's one female turkey, I guess.
So I guess she spat out all the Smurfs in town, right? She's all their mom.
Gargamel actually made Smurfette. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Gargamel made Smurfette to infiltrate the Smurfs. So before Smurfette, Slashaholics, I'm breaking news right now from 1984. Gargamel made Smurfette, and before he made her, there was only male Smurfs. Right? That's it. So they're just like turkeys. La 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 la. The hell are they so happy about them
having sex, but still spreading their numbers?
Yeah, what the hell are they? They're just like, I told you not to open the door, Jokey, when I'm with my Smurf berries. For the love of God. All
right, let the guy Smurf alone in his Smurf room. Okay, let him finish his Smurfing. What about the Snorks? Can they produce without sex, or do they have to get it on?
I don't know anything about the Snorks. I never caught the Snorks. I think it was only on for half a season, wasn't it?
I remember watching it, and the Raccoons. The Raccoons was a good one that I totally forgot about until the other day.
The Snorks.
It's like the Snorks were like the Smurfs, but underwater.
Yeah, the Snorks were on around the same time that the Silverhawks were on. The Silverhawks. And I remember watching 2 episodes of that too, and Silverhawks was kind of like a ripoff of Thundercats almost. I think it was almost made by the same production company.
Probably so.
It has the same anime vibe to it, the same feel. So if you guys go back and watch the intro to the Silverhawks and then Thundercats, it looks really similar. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same company that animated those shows.
We had great shows back then. We had one called David the Gnome, where the main character that you loved throughout the whole series dies in this children's cartoon that was meant for young children. Him and his wife just lay down and die together at the end. So,
I don't remember that at all. Was that the very last episode?
That was the last episode. That's how they become part of the forest. He just laid down and died.
Wait a minute. So,
Mr. C.
so what happened to Swift, the fox? Who was like?
Oh, he was crying. He was crying at the end. Like, he was sad watching it happen.
No one's gonna feed him. That's their pet. That's I don't remember that at all.
Look it up. When you're
dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Not the mama. You remember the dinosaurs? The big.
Yeah, that wasn't supposed to end that way. It was supposed to have another season.
Dude, they died because like the Ice Age came, right?
He caused it. They were gonna there was gonna be a season where they reversed it for a while, but they got canceled. And that's kind of like how Alf ended. Alf ended with Alf being abducted by the FBI or whatever.
Yeah, they made a TV movie to end. I remember it like went into a TV movie after that, right? Yeah, where he goes home.
I don't know if they did a movie or not. I guess if you're saying they did, they did. All I remember was okay, because if they hadn't, the show literally ended with Alf being taken in to be like cut up into pieces, and the family had no idea what to do to save him. That was the end of the show.
No, they finished it with a TV movie where I'm almost positive that they resolved that, probably because of what you're talking about. They're like little kids with their Alf TV tray and their Alf trading cards and their Alf dolls. Like, what the hell? Yeah, I had an Alf TV tray, like a little one. Not that I would just set on my lap, and eat dinner. It was great. I wish I still had that damn thing. It's probably worth like $100 now if it was mint.
God, if I had my copy of the first episode of Freddy's Nightmares, it would have been worth money up until they put it on Screambox a couple months ago.
Yeah, Screambox, like, Freddy's Nightmares, we've already kind of discussed it on the previous episode. You go back and rewatch those episodes, and it's like, this, I can see why this didn't work. Like, this is, it seems like some of those plots were just scribbled on a cocktail napkin during happy hour at a Marriott on, like, a Tuesday evening. They're just not good. They're bad. They're bad. They're not good. And there's not enough Freddy. There's just and I said this before, and I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go into it really deeply, but it seems like a lot of the episodes don't have they're not resolved. They don't know how to end the shows. They don't know how to end the episodes.
It's like really an weird SNL sketch. They don't know how to end it.
Yeah, they just don't know how to end it. It's weird. So on that great point right there about how much Freddy's Nightmares actually sucks, did you know that a pig's orgasm can last as long as 90 minutes? 90 minutes, Josh.
Wow.
Oh my.
I did not know that.
God, 90 minutes? You'd black out. You would black out, man. I saw a fact that an orgasm, if they do a brain scan on you, when you're having an orgasm, your brain looks exactly like your brain does when it's using heroin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 90 minutes of just chasing the dragon, man.
I wonder how many pigs, like, how long they stay high on heroin if their orgasms are 90 minutes.
Yeah, they're like, this heroin sucks, man. I'd rather just go bust a nut real quick. I mean, lasts way longer, and it's free. Don't pigs aren't their penises like corkscrews?
They're corkscrews. Yeah, they're corkscrews.
Yeah, and don't ducks have weird penises too? Like,
I haven't checked, but I know cats have little barbs on theirs, like kidney stone barbs, So that's why cats scream.
Like a cactus, like that. Yeah, that's why the female cat sounds like she's fucking dying in the alleyway every time they're having sex. Like, it's like,
you?
Yeah, just dying. Good Lord, man. Heathcliff and Garfield were up to no good, apparently.
I was on a medication one time that made it where if I had one, it would turn into two, but I can't imagine 90 minutes. I think I would have to clock out. I don't think I can handle that.
Well, a pig could never go for the world record of orgasms, like we talked about in a previous episode. That take too long. Your first one takes 90 minutes. You're trying to break the record of, like, what was it, 26 or something for a man? Yeah, no way, dude. You're already screwed because you're not even 70% done with your first one after the first hour.
Pigs are out of the running on that.
Do the pigs just completely drain of bodily fluids by the end of the 90 minutes? Like, are they just look like they look like that meme of the alien that's totally skinny and dying? Like, is that what a pig looks like after they have sex? Like, totally drained of every liquid in their body?
It'd be wasted
How does that
on
work?
they can produce without sex. And turkeys are like, God damn it.
Turkeys, man. Hey, let's get into another fun fact. In 2007, a woman from New Zealand was actually fired for using caps lock too often in work emails.
Well, people didn't like being yelled at. It's a hostile work environment.
I hate it when people use caps lock. And it's always someone that's it's always someone that's older and just learned how to text for the first time. It's like, I wasn't upset with you. It's like, well, I kind of thought you were because everything you said to me was in caps. Like, everything's in caps.
I just don't know how to use it is all. I guess I hit the wrong button. Well, you were like saying, fuck you, I hate you, I wish you would die. So you got to understand, the caps lock made that seem like you were wanting me to die.
You had exclamation points at the end, and you used proper punctuation, so I thought, like, that was legit. Like, I didn't think it was a mistake.
You even ended a PS saying, and this is not a mistake, I didn't hit the wrong button, I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah, I can't stand you, I'm pissed, you're a fuck up.
I definitely hit cap lock, so... Yeah.
Everybody knows somebody like that, though, that uses like the wrong punctuation, uses caps lock. And you and I have had conversations where we're talking about something, or I'll like think you're upset with me, or you'll think that I said something I didn't, because text you can't like in text or emails you don't know the inflection or how they're saying it or if they're joking, so. Text isn't great all the time. Sometimes you actually have to actually talk to somebody to see what they mean.
Have a connection with somebody, people.
Yeah.
At least a couple minutes a day.
Yeah, like actually speak to somebody. I know people and my brother is kind of one of these guys. He just never answers his phone. He'll text me 1,000 texts, but he just will not answer his phone. Some people just do not want to talk on the phone anymore.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of in that camp. I don't like texting either. If I didn't have kids, or if I didn't have a job that depending on it that I had to have a phone for, I probably wouldn't even have like a real good phone, just some cheap in case of an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
I just never cared for cell phones very much.
Yeah.
Like when I was a teenager, cell phones were just coming out. Like they'd been out before that, but it's like the big Zach Morris ones. But it was becoming a thing that more people had. Me and my friends and my siblings, we didn't want to take cell phones with us when we went out because that just meant our parents,
can get a hold of you.
Exactly. And now it's like teenagers can't live without them. And, it's like back then I threw a cell phone, me and my sister did, out of a car one night because our parents kept calling and bugging us. So we threw it out of the window into a river on a bridge we were driving over and said that we lost it. They were expensive phones too. God, I hope my parents are watching this. But
your parents are going to send you a freaking bill after this episode.
You're grounded.
I threw something out of a window one time. I went to a bowling tournament in Reno, and my friend had like 2 CDs in his car. He actually drove us down there. He had Next. The song was Too Close. It was like, ooh, you're dancing real close, right? That stupid song. Yeah. He had like 2 CDs, and that was one of them. So the drive from Coos Bay, Oregon, where I live, to Reno was like, because we went to Sacramento first to drop something off to somebody he knew in Sacramento. So the drive was like, 7-8 hours total. Like 60% of the drive was listening to Next, and Next on that CD had one song that was like a hit. They were a one-hit wonder. It was the Too Close song. He put it in, and I said, hey, I want to switch the CD out. I pulled it out and just chucked it out the window somewhere in Sacramento on the way back. That was it. And that was when CDs cost like $30.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like 2003, 2004, man. He was pissed. But I had it. I don't listen to it anymore. Fuck that song. Yeah, I was like, hey, can I eject that? I want to switch the CD out real quick. I just ejected out and just fling that fucker right out the window and on to the next one.
I remember when cassette tapes were still sold brand new. They'd be like little bitty tapes, but like this big old long handle plastic thing that you'd like a handle to carry it. It's like
and they'd have to take it off at the counter. They'd have like a chastity belt key to get that thing off.
And light bulbs still come in like little thin cardboard packages. You know, like the most breakable, easiest thing to break comes in thin cardboard, but like tapes and shit and CDs and movies, you have to take like 10 different things off of it to get it open.
Dude, when we were kids, I remember buying tapes, and like you'd want to listen to a certain song, and you couldn't like skip ahead like a CD. You couldn't go like I'm gonna listen to track 3 over and over again or hit repeat. You'd have to master rewind or fast forward correctly, and I could never time it just right. So you'd have to listen to the ass end of some song you didn't want to listen to, or the beginning of a song you didn't want to listen to, or whatever. And I also remember, like, if because there was no internet really in the early '90s, so if we wanted to, like, mixtapes were big, right? So if you wanted to listen to a song again, because if the radio played it, you had to get your radio, like your stereo, ready to record that son of a bitch and hit record as soon as the song came on. So a lot of those mixtapes I made had half the song or
and
whatever.
Commercials.
Yeah, commercials or whatever. It's like
Come on down to Crazy Kyle's Auto.
Yeah, wacky, waveable, arm flailing tube man. Let's get into the last fun fact of episode number 6. What do you say?
Last one.
Yeah, and then we'll get into another topic.
Okay.
All right, this is the last fun fact. Snake Island is an island off the coast of Brazil that's estimated to have 1 snake per every square meter. It's home to the extremely deadly and also highly endangered golden lancehead viper. This island is completely off limits to humans. Would you want to go to Snake Island?
No. I think humans evicted themselves from that island. There's a spider island.
I've seen videos of it, like where like the entire ground moves because it's just covered with spiders, right?
Billy the Exterminator or whatever went to one little island that was, I don't think it was the Spider Island, but he called it Spider Island. It was infested with brown recluses. And like this person had a summer home there and they wanted it exterminated. He got bit by like 4 of them. And those things fuck you up, you know.
Your skin will start rotting.
It dies.
Right?
It's like that part of your body's dead where it bites you. And my dad was bit by one like 20 years ago, and to this day, every couple years, a hole will rot in his hand where he got bit. Like it still happens 2 decades later. Yeah, because the skin never fully heals in some cases because it dies. The skin is it's necrosis. But yeah, like he went to this house and they were just hanging everywhere. They were on the floor, hanging from the ceiling. They were on the ground outside. So Snake Island, I'm not as scared of snakes as I am. I'm not really arachnophobic. I'm bite-ophobic. I don't want to be bit by a brown. I've seen what happens with a brown recluse bite. I've seen how sick people get. I've seen somebody get bit by a black widow, and like they couldn't stand up straight for like 2 days because they were cramping and hurting so bad. It like they couldn't, like they were cramping even with medication and stuff. Like little bitty fucking spiders, their bite scares me. Snakes, I can see them coming, so I'm not as scared of them. But
what are you gonna do on Snake Island? You're gonna see them coming, and then you're gonna run away into more snakes.
So I don't want to go there. I'm just saying, like if somebody said you're going to Snake Island or you're going to Spider Island, one or the other, I'd be like, can I go to Shoot Me in the Head Island?
Can I go to Death Island, please?
They'd say no, and I'd probably have to go to Snake Island. Would you go to Spider Island or Snake Island if you had to go?
I would probably go to Snake Island because Spider Island, you're not getting away from those, man. They'll get you. They can climb on the walls. They can jump. Have you seen some of the spiders that can jump? Legit from branch to branch. They're terrifying. Some snakes though can like almost jump, right? There's jumping snakes.
Oh yeah. There's they can like leap. Yeah. They can spring up in the air.
Yeah.
In the comment section, let us know if you had to choose, would you go to Snake Island or Spider Island? And while you're considering that, the funny's gonna stop for a second because I got something to say to everybody, and this is a true fact. You can look it up. There is always a spider within 6 feet of your location. No matter where you are, there is a spider 6 feet away from you. Don't forget that.
Hey, your dad. So you said your dad. You said your dad. His skin is still like starts dying again every once in a while, years and years later.
Yep.
Are you sure that's not from the spider bite and possibly from the financial ruin that you brought upon your household by throwing the cell phone in the lake? Like he doesn't know that you did it, but it's physically manifesting in his actual health. Like universe is telling him like your son is a piece of garbage and wanted to bring the house of LaRue down. Is that what you're telling him? He doesn't know though. If he watches this episode, if he's anything like my father, he doesn't even know that I have a show. So you're good.
I don't think my dad knows either.
Yeah.
I think I told him, but if he found out, he'd be like, "Oh, I told him before." I was like, "Dad, my channel's blowing up. We got like 17,000 subscribers on it." He's like, "What do you mean a channel?" I was like, "I told you about." Never mind.
He's like, "That's
it's
great."
a YouTube thing.
Yeah, he's like, "That's great. What day is it?" No, I'm kidding. That's my dad, not your dad. My dad's like, "Is it Wednesday? What day is it?"
My dad's like, "That's nice, son. Now shut the fuck up. My hand's rotting. I gotta go get this cleaned out."
Yeah, it's rotting in the form of a cell phone from the early 90s. No. Hey, let's move in to sports. Let's get into the sports.
Awesome. That's my favorite segment. I love it.
All right.
I'm not a horrible person like people call me in the comments.
Well, we're getting into sports right now. And the NBA playoffs are in full swing right now, Josh. And we're approaching the end of round 1, and we're going to be moving into round 2. The Phoenix Suns have a player by the name of Jay Crowder, and he's a starting forward for the team. And the Suns are actually pretty good. They actually went to the finals last year. So they went all the way to the championship round last year. Jay Crowder's a starter on this team. He's a big-time contributor. But last week, maybe not so much. In a playoff game, Jay Crowder played 28 minutes, okay? So he played like 70%, maybe 65% of the entire game.
Yeah.
He finished with 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 1 block. He basically ran around with his hands in his pockets the entire game.
He was consistent, though.
Yeah, he was 1. He seriously was just doing cardio at that point. Just running around, taking up space, man. He did almost nothing.
He's like, "Shit, I'm still a millionaire regardless, so fuck it."
How do you do that? Like, in 28 minutes of action, how did you only get 1 assist? You probably had the ball in your hands a lot more than once. The thing that boggles my mind is how did he only get 1 rebound? Because the ball's going to bounce to you whether you're in position sometimes or not. Like, you're going to get a lucky couple rebounds. He got 1.
What was his name again?
Jay Crowder.
Oh, dude. He actually has a rare blood condition.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier that day, they had to give him a transfusion, and all he had was pig's blood. And then he got laid right before the game.
Yeah.
So that's why he couldn't concentrate on the game because he was having a 90-minute orgasm.
The whole game, huh?
The whole game. He tried his best, but
the 28 minutes. The 28 minutes he played was actually only like a third almost of the initial orgasm. So yeah, he was really distracted. I've never tried to play sports while having an orgasm. I'm sure it's probably really hard.
I'm sure it is hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really hard both ways, but I'm sure it's very difficult to focus on a sporting game when you're having an orgasm. I'll give you that, Josh.
Or focus on a sports story when you have me as a co-host.
Yeah, next level sports drop right there, Josh. That was fantastic. Let's get into the second sports story of the night.
Oh.
Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield recently made a comment on fans booing him during games. He said, and I quote, "I would love to show up to somebody's cubicle and boo the shit out of them and watch them crumble." So Baker Mayfield would like to show up to these fans' jobs and just start booing them and see how they react to it. What are your thoughts on this, Josh?
Like us tracking down the bad comment people, Here's where the funny starts, bitch.
No, we give them awards, dude. We don't retaliate. We award them.
Man, he ought to embrace it and become just a heel sportsman. Like when I was in wrestling, Yes, I'm going to go back and talk about wrestling just for a second, okay?
Okay.
Very bigly part of my life.
Here's your truth social moment of the night. There we go.
Here's my truth post.
There we go.
Even though I run Truth Social, I do not have an account, okay? Because Elon Musk is going to give me my Twitter back. I know he's going to, because he bought it, okay? In wrestling, of course, when you're a heel, you want to be booed,
Yeah.
you know? And by the way, there's a show called Hills on Stars. You've got to check it out. It's about an indie company. Two brothers run it. The guy that played Green Arrow is on it, and he's got like a lot of respect for the business. A lot of real independent wrestlers work on the show, and it's pretty cool. You got to check it out. It's called Hills. Anyways, I was a heel wrestler. I started out as a baby face, which in wrestling is the good guy. And I just couldn't pull off the whole, come on, yeah, like kissing the crowd's butt thing. So my hometown was pretty much booing me one night because I was trying so hard to be a good guy. I turned heel, and from that day forward, I was a bad guy. But when I did that, I couldn't sell any merchandise, right? Because bad guys, nobody wants their shit. And people sung to my music. I had this theme song that was like na 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 hey hey goodbye. But I found this song from Mexico where it was like na 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 hey 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 VIP, and then it would like be Spanish words I didn't understand, but that's how it started. So I took that and put it in front of my theme song, and fans started singing along to that, saying, "Hey, hey, hey, you suck," instead of VIP. So I had a bunch of VIP shirts made. It looked like the NWO logo, but it was red and said VIP, and they weren't selling because I was a heel. So I went to the screen printer, and I had "sucks" added to the bottom where it looked like it had been spray painted on there.
Yeah.
And I went and I put them for sale at the babyface table, and they sold more than the top babyface's merchandise sold. I made hundreds a night selling VIP suck shirts. And these heels came up to me like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you say that you suck and put that on your shirts? It's like, because I'm playing a bad guy and I like money, and I don't, it's if you're playing a bad guy, it's like they didn't think of this. Like, why was I the first indie guy to think of anti-merchandise? You shouldn't have an ego if you're. This guy is getting booed, and he wants to go out and boo the fans. I mean, just embrace that shit, man. I know it's not wrestling, but sports, there's still faces and there's heels. I hear it all the time. I can't name any names, but there's people that love this player and hate this player. There's heroes and villains.
Yeah.
So he ought to just embrace it, because it's like in wrestling. You either want to be getting cheered or you want to be getting booed. But if you're not getting either, that's when you have a problem.
Yeah,
so
that's X-Pac heat. Nobody cares. Like,
if this guy you're talking about is getting booed that much, that's people putting forth interest in him. He's not just a nobody. He ought to embrace that shit and grow the fuck up. That's what I was getting at. Drop the ego, embrace being that, and just go run with it. It's good. Obviously, he's gotten people's attention. It might not be getting worshipped like he wants, but it's better than not getting any reaction from the crowd at all.
Well, let's get Baker Mayfield on the show. We actually have Baker Mayfield here right now.
Oh.
He
was shit.
He could definitely take, like Kobe Bryant, when he had his situation where he was being accused of sexual assault in Colorado. That's when he created the Black Mamba. He had I'm going to be a killer on the court. This is a true thing. He was a huge fan favorite, Kobe Bryant. All of a sudden, everybody hates him. He embraced it, and at the end of it, came out more popular than he ever was before by doing exactly what you said he should do.
That's what I'm saying. Embrace it, because you've got the crowd in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I've been in public before, back when I was wrestling, and I had people yell at me in a grocery store before, in Walmart, VIP sucks, and I just smiled, because it's like, I did it, laying in the
Like,
ring. One of my greatest nights in wrestling, I got beat. And it's my greatest moment ever in wrestling. And I'm not trying to fill up the episode with it, but you might be interested in this. I had won the main belt in a tournament for this company I was working for, and I was one of the top heels. I mean, the people sung to my music like they sing to it, Kurt Angle's, you know, and they hated the fact that I cheated my way through this tournament and won the belt. And for 6 months, I was the champion, and people would come out like every other week. We did a show every 2 weeks, and they would hope and pray that I would lose. They would tell me, "You're going to lose tonight. You're going to lose the belt." And every time I'd find some way to weasel my way into winning it, you know, keeping it. And the night I lost it was against this big dude, big muscled up dude. He actually wrestled like on Sunday Night Heat and shit before, named Brandon Groom. And I talked to him in the locker room, and I was like, "Man, I would never ask you to lay down for me because you've got so much more experience and you're so much bigger than me, but I've got this idea." And I ran it past him, and I'm going to tell you that in a second. And this guy who had been in the business way longer than me said, "Wow, you've got a great mind for wrestling. Let's do it." And he agreed to take a 3 count from me. Here's what I did. For 6 months, the crowd was wanting to see me lose the belt, right? So I finally lost it that night. And as soon as I lost it, and I mean, the crowd erupted. This little son of a bitch, little skinny, cheating son of a bitch lost the belt. I get on the microphone and pull in our commissioner of the company and say that I had set up a rematch clause. And he's looking at it. And while he's looking at it, my dad was my manager at the time, took a chain and hit the big guy in the back of the head. Didn't knock him out, but he's like stumbling, and the commissioner was like, and he didn't see it, the referee didn't see it, and he's like, "Yeah, he gets a rematch, ring the bell." The bell rang. I gave the guy the RKO type move that I did, which was a finisher, and I won the belt back immediately. And people were losing their shit, throwing shit in. They were probably never going to come to a show again. That's how pissed they were that, you know, I pulled the rug out from underneath. But here's where my plan that I talked to him came in. I start leaving the ring with the belt. Everybody, there's some people that are just pissed, throwing their shit away, getting ready to leave. And as I'm going into the locker room, every baby face comes out, picks me up, throws me back in the ring, and Brandon Groom says, "Okay, my rematch clause kicks in." And he picks me up, does his finisher, like hardcore, which is like spinning around a bunch, and it's like it's a press slam. Pins me, and the crowd was like, some the people that were leaving like ran back in, and they counted out loud 1, 2, 3 with the ref, you know. And I laid there for like 10 minutes, not moving. I really sold the shit out of it, and while he celebrated winning. That was my greatest moment, and it was losing because I had a whole crowd in the palm of my hand. You know, like we pulled the rug out from underneath them. They waited 6 months to see me destroyed. They got their wish, and then I got it back immediately, which pissed them off worse than anything in the 6 months, which made him beating me again an even better moment. You know what I mean? It made it 10 times bigger by doing it that way, and that's why he agreed to lay down for a 3 count from me.
Yeah.
And, you know, my point was embrace the heat, man. Sorry, I got a little sentimental there talking my wrestling career, but that was my greatest moment in wrestling, and I didn't even win that night. I lost that night. I lost the belt that night. You know, but one of my biggest heroes was Roddy Piper, and if you're a good enough heel, you don't need a belt. And it's not about winning or losing. It's what you're doing there, you know. And we had that crowd, and it's just I just wanted to say, when it comes to just embracing the heat, my best moment is a night that I lost. So yeah, if the guy's getting that much attention to the point that he's getting booed so much that he wants to go and be petty and boo people at their jobs, why not just embrace that heat he's getting and ride that attention all the way to the top? You know,
what he should do is like what I do when people are negative towards me, or when people say I can't do something, or if they make a snide comment. Like what I do is I use it as motivation intrinsically, and then I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'll show you. Like, you'll see, and if we don't talk anymore, or if we're not living in the same city anymore, you're gonna see that I'm doing exactly what you said I couldn't do. I will let you know. Somehow you'll see I'm doing exactly what you told me I couldn't do. So there's two different avenues he could go down, and either one is a better choice than what he's saying right now. He doesn't need to go to somebody's cubicle. He needs to go make money from it, or he needs to get better from it, or both. 100%. Yeah. Since we start talking about wrestling, let's get into the wrestling portion of the show. No, it's good segue. So I saw Josh. I like to talk. I keep an eye on graded VHS stuff. I've talked about it in the past. I saw that a copy of Royal Rumble '92, a graded copy, it's like an 8, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Recently sold for $1,914.99.
So somebody really wanted to watch Ric Flair in the Royal Rumble.
Go the distance.
That bad.
Wanted to go the distance. No, I think it's so funny because I see people make comments about like, oh, VHS just junk. You can go to Goodwill, blah blah blah. It's like, well, kinda. Like, but if you have a good eye, you definitely need to, like, if you see something that looks like it's in pretty good shape or still wrapped, I don't know how much that we can stress that you should probably buy it. Just, I mean, you might hit the lottery. You don't know. I mean, I think that we should end the show right now and go garage sailing. I think that we should end the episode right now and go garage selling.
Slash Trax pickers.
Yeah, just slash
Trax pickers.
God, every American Pickers episode, that frickin' Frank Fritz. No, I want to bundle it. Can I bundle it? Can I take this and that? I'm a can guy. I like oil cans. Can I bundle this shit? It's like, no, I want to sell you this. I don't want to sell you. I want this price. I don't want to sell 8 other items and then the one thing you want and then pay less. Like, get less.
Or the person's like, sir, I've told you 3 times, I'm just the toll booth worker, and I need $1.75.
Yeah, we can't negotiate. Like, this is not like, this is your taxes, Frank Fritz. You owe 20% of what you grossed for the year. This isn't negotiable. Like, I'm sorry. I know you like oil cans. That has nothing to do with the federal government. I'm sorry.
I looked up VHS. I think the next records are back in. They're real hot. Like, you can go buy record players.
Vinyl.
You can buy vinyl. I think VHS is going to make a comeback where VCRs are going to be sold again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people prefer that. I prefer that. So many DVDs, they scratch so easy. They go bad after. But VHS, I still have VHS tapes that work perfectly fine. From like 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, from like the mid 80s, early 80s, man.
And you always get that little tracking at the beginning, but that's part of the enjoyment. It's kind of like how vinyl sounds better. But like I was looking up the Hulkamania tapes. I wanted to get Hulkamania 1 through 5 or what. I think it was Hulkamania 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Forever or whatever. I wanted those tapes because as a kid I loved them, and I looked them up and they were fucking expensive.
Yeah, they're really expensive because like short prints. Rarity, like, because Coliseum Home Video sometimes wouldn't release it nationwide. Sometimes they'd only do it regionally.
Or from some stores only.
Yeah, so you'd have to, like, I had a friend who, there was a video store that closed in our hometown, and he went down, like, the first day and bought almost every wrestling tape. I was so jealous. I didn't even know that you could do that. And he was like, oh, yeah, I got, like, everything. He got, like, Rampage 92, which was this random battle royal they had. It was like a house show in London.
Oh,
and Davey Boy Smith won it, obviously, because he was, like, huge in London. He won this random battle royal. And they didn't even have, it wasn't a Royal Rumble, it was a battle royal, so all 30 men started in the ring.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even have 30 guys that were, like, names in there. They had, like, jobbers in there with them. It was the weirdest.
World War III.
Yeah, it was the weirdest battle royal I've ever. You mean World War III, where it's like they have 60 guys in 3 rings?
90 guys, 60 or 90 or whatever. Yeah, 60 guys, and like 25 of them are people you know, and 35 are just like local indie wrestlers and shit, or wrestlers, you know,
From New
wearing
Japan
masks.
or Mexico or something. Yeah. Yeah, they're like, oh, here comes Disco Inferno. Like, he's got a real shot at winning the world championship tonight. Yeah, okay. Sure you do. The second wrestling story of the night is actually one of my favorite wrestling angles they ever did for Raw. And it was just like a one-off thing. 24 years ago today, D-Generation X actually attempted to invade a live taping of WCW Monday Nitro on an army jeep. They tried to drive straight into the building, which was the Norfolk Scope in Virginia. They almost got in. They seriously almost drove this jeep in. They got X-Pac on the back. They've got Billy Gunn. They got Road Dogg, China, Triple H. A couple of the guys had like branches on their army helmets. Like they were in camo, fake guns. They tried to drive this DX Jeep into the Norfolk Scope, building, and right before they got in, the gate closed.
Yeah. They were saying, let Kevin and Scott go. Let them go.
let my people go. Let Scott Hall and Kevin Nash free. Set them free.
The sign was flashing free tickets. Call this number.
Yeah, they were papering. They were papering the crowd. Come and get the free tickets that WCW has to hand out to fill their arena.
But then again, I was a huge WCW fan then, so that pissed me off. I stuck with WCW all the way until the end, and I tried so hard, but when Scott
WCW was getting bad at the end.
Scott Steiner was beating up a plastic duck and getting on the microphone and saying switch to WWF because WCW sucks.
Dude,
I was like, I don't think anybody's running this anymore.
Vince Russo single-handed, and him and Ed Ferrara, the writers, who were like claimed responsibility for the Attitude Era, went to WCW and just destroyed WCW's product. They are a huge reason.
I think Vince sent him there to do that. I really do. To this day, I think Vince sent Russo there.
He never got. Well, I would be inclined to believe you because it was that bad when he went to WCW, but he never got a job again with WWE. Like, he's never been involved with them in any capacity since. Like, had he got hired back, I might believe it.
Maybe they didn't want to, make it obvious, so they just broke ties with him after that. Maybe they paid him good. Ed Ferrara did this thing where he made fun of
Jim
Ross's Bell's palsy, and that I was like, that is sickening. Even as a teenager, I was like, that's wrong.
Super classy move. Like, Ed Ferrara is a piece of shit. Yeah, I don't like Ed Ferrara, and you don't. So if Ed Ferrara ever wants to come on the podcast, fuck you, Ed Ferrara. And if you have a comment about that in the comments, Ed Ferrara, go ahead and leave one.
Mark Madden, I didn't like him either. Like, he was just such a mark to be a ring announcer. I'm like, why are they letting like a super mark be a commentator on a wrestling show?
Probably just paid him in tickets. Like, he probably didn't have a salary. They're like, hey man, you really like the product?
Nachos.
Want a job? Yeah, we'll pay you in the arena food, and you can actually commentate on the product, man. We're not paying you anything, okay? And we're also putting the title on David Arquette tonight. What do you think about that?
Dude, I was at the pay-per-view where David Arquette lost the world title in the triple tiered cage.
The triple cage, the triple tiered cage.
I was there for that. When Canyon got thrown off, like I told you before, we saw them setting up the fake section of the ramp.
Yeah.
And they had one of those things that was like the height of the ring that they walked to the ring for that setup, and we saw them putting in a different kind of piece that looked different and then covering it. So we knew something was going to go down. The thing is, he almost missed it by like that much. He came close to dying that night. We thought he was really hurt. We thought he missed it. But yeah, I was there when David Arquette lost the belt, man. Bobby Heenan's hot mic thing one night, I think it was on Raw. He thought his mic was off, and he's like, "This is the worst one we've ever done." Like, this is the worst one. One night, Tony Schiavone said, "This is what happens when you fuck with the NWO," and it didn't get bleeped.
He said the F word?
Yeah, it was when they had the silver, the NWO 2000.
Yeah.
Terry Funk was getting beat up by them and thrown in the trunk of a car, And as they drove away, Kevin
Your
Nash was sitting
mother's a
on the hood.
whore.
He's waving, and Tony Schiavone's like, "That's what happened. That's what you get for fucking the NWO." And I was like,
Oh.
"What?
Wow.
What?"
They had a lot of slip-ups with stuff like that. When Booker T said the N-word to Hulk Hogan, they were no. Who was running Who was running the show back then? Like they.
What about the Shockmaster tripping?
Oh, that was because Dusty Rhodes put that frickin' Stormtrooper, bedazzled Stormtrooper helmet on him. He couldn't see out of it.
Did you know that was Typhoon?
It was Fred Ottman. It was Tugboat.
Tugboat, yeah.
Yeah, so Dusty has him put this helmet on that he can't see out of, and he busts through the door, and didn't he trip over the thing on the ground?
They put a beam on the bottom of the wall. It was supposed to be a fake wall, but they put a board on the bottom, and he stepped right in.
And he grabs his helmet, and he's trying to, like, adjust it. That was like when, oh my goodness, I can't remember his name now, Titus O'Neil, when he's at that Battle Royal, overseas, and he's running to the ring, and he trips and slides like a baseball player under the mat. Those are the two things I think of. I was like, there's another Shockmaster moment for old Titus. Horrible.
In Christian's TV show, they made a joke out of that, and they said, "Here's some footage you didn't see of that." And like when he slides underneath the ring, Edge and Christian are already down there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for dropping by."
Oh, like they edited, like they were already down there. That's funny. So hey, since we brought up David Arquette, that's a perfect segue to get into our horror news because we're going to talk about his sibling.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Patricia Arquette for a second. Okay. Patricia Arquette was in Dream Warriors, so Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. And by the way, we've actually interviewed Ira Hayden, who was a Dream Warrior, so if you guys want to check that out, it's in the Getting Sidetracked on the channel here, so you can check that out. But anyway, so Patricia Arquette never, ever has really publicly spoken about her role in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It was her first acting role in a major motion picture ever. She actually was pretty complimentary about it. She said a lot of really positive things. She had mentioned that her dressing room was actually not really a dressing room. It was just like they put up like a piece of like drywall, and they all had like a cot in part of like the old hospital, hospital that they filmed in. So they didn't have like a couch or nice things in their room. They just had like an old cot in a scary hospital with a piece of drywall separating the rooms. She said she got along really well with Heather Langenkamp and like all the co-stars and stuff. But she said something that was really interesting. She made a comment that for the Dokken Dream Warriors video, which is like based on Dream Warriors the movie, it was the theme song for the movie. She was paid more to be in the video than she was to be in the actual movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome and kind of sad at the same time. I don't even know how that works out like that.
Because a lot of people don't realize this. It's kind of like how we were able to show Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the actual movie, on an episode of CLASSIX. The Elm Street movies were not big-budget Hollywood films. They were independent films. Every sequel was an independent film. So they didn't have to pay the same as like a Hollywood film or whatever. They paid the bare minimum. Somehow, their sequels are independent, and they don't fall under the same guidelines and stuff as like major motion pictures of that time. So that's probably how they got away with paying her less. Was that it was an indie film.
So she might have made actual scale, like realistic scale, because Dokken was probably like a real production.
Exactly. It wasn't. Okay. The movie itself was just an indie production, and they had different stuff, I believe.
That's what they do with the Power Rangers. Haim Saban, who's the guy who like created the Power Rangers, they get paid nothing. The kids that play the Power Rangers, because they're not they're not in union. That's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I've got a news story about Power Rangers for all of our Power Ranger fans out there. Everybody knows Hasbro bought Power Rangers from Haim Saban a couple years ago. They were finishing up what Japanese footage that they had left planned, which is the season that's airing right now, or just finished. They had 2 seasons of it. Dino Morphers or something. Anyways, after that, there's no more Japanese footage that's ever going to be used from the Super Sentai series. All that's going to be over, and they're producing like 3 or 4 different shows for Netflix and movies. One of the shows will be like the shows we know. One of them is going to be an adult Power Ranger show for adults, and one of them is produced by David Yost, who played Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger in the original Power Ranger series, and it's going to be about the original team having to get back together. It's going to be an 8-episode limited series called The Power Grid or something like that, and it's going to be more for adults as well. It's going to be kind of dark and stuff. The old team has to, as 40-year-olds, I guess, power back up to save the world. I don't know how they're going to cover training, but Tommy, Billy, Jason, Kimberly, everybody signed on for it.
They're actually making this. I heard about this. They're actually going to make this?
Yeah, and Hasbro has got all these plans, but the Super Sentai days are over, it looks like, and it's all going to be original, new content, higher budget. It's going to be on Netflix, maybe on Nickelodeon or something. And there's a new Power Ranger movie coming out as well to theaters in the next year or so. I like the one they did in 2017. I felt like they spent too long on the backstory, and we only got like 15 minutes of action on it. But if they had been given a chance to make a sequel, I think that it would have kicked ass. They could have brought in Lord Zed, Tommy, Bryan Cranston was a great. And what's so funny about him being Zordon is Bryan Cranston used to make money because he didn't have a lot of acting gigs. He did commercials, and he voiced monsters on the original first 3 seasons of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
He was friends with some of the production. That's why Billy, the character Billy's last name is Cranston.
Because it was based off Walter White.
On the original series. Yeah, they were. Oh my God, Bryan Cranston was friends with one of the writers, and they just wrote in Billy Cranston as the name.
Nice.
So I don't know. I'm excited to see what Hasbro does with the adult themed ones for the people that grew up with the show. So that's going to be cool. But yeah, the Super Sentai stuff is over. So maybe all these actors will start getting paid better than what you were saying, because that's the truth. They've been getting screwed for years.
So, speaking of getting screwed, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Scream 5, David Arquette dies, Dewey dies in Scream 5, okay? And this is the last horror story of the evening. David Arquette was recently asked if he was going to be returning to Scream 6, but Dewey's dead. And David Arquette gave this response. He said, "You never know." So is David Arquette going to return as a vision or a memory or a flashback, or could he possibly not be dead? But he didn't say emphatically no.
I can just see him. They're he's in a body bag, being carried away. His guts are hanging out, and thumb goes up.
I'm good.
Part 1 or whatever.
I'm good.
I'm okay, Sid. I got this.
I'm good. They're just gonna put
back in.
Yeah, they're just gonna put my. I'm good. Wow. So yeah, David Arquette might not actually be dead. So, let's get into some headlines to end the show. What do you think?
Let's talk about some headlines. Get our heads itching.
All right.
Oh, headlines. We'll do headlines.
This is a big personal story for me, Josh. This one is huge. You ready for this? All right. Taco Bell has announced the comeback of the Mexican pizza. It's officially coming back to stores on May 19th.
Are you going to go stock up?
Hell yes, I am. Hell yes, I am. The Mexican pizza... Dude, Mexican pizza has been a staple item for Alex Vanover since he was about 4. And when they took it away, it was a very dark day in my household. So the fact that the Mexican pizza is coming back, thank you. Thank you. You shouldn't have taken it away in the first place.
I'm glad you're getting that back, because I feel cursed. All the things I love get discontinued. So I totally understand. these. I love the Ninja Turtle face ice cream bars. Discontinued. El Monterey Spicy Taco Picante Burritos. Discontinued. Crystal Pepsi. Discontinued. Ecto Cooler. Discontinued. All this stuff. But I'm glad you're getting your pizza back, man.
Yeah,
maybe next thing they'll make is a McRib Mexican pizza.
A McRib Mexican pizza, huh? That would be disgusting, but I would try it. Yeah.
Are you gonna go out on the 19th for real and grab you one?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
First in line.
If I could
stay there all night.
Dude, if I could I'd have a lawn chair just like people wait for Star Wars movies to come out. I'm gonna have a lawn chair. I'm gonna piss in a jar. Whatever I have to do to be the first in line, I will be there for the Mexican pizza. Guaranteed.
Someone's gonna pick that jar up and be like, Baja Blast.
Yeah, looks a little different. Looks a little darker than Baja Blast, but why not? Yeah. So here's another story. Megan Fox, star of Jennifer's Body, has confirmed that she and her boyfriend, or fiance, or whatever the hell he is, Machine Gun Kelly, drink each other's blood. She says it's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only. What's your thoughts on that?
Ritual. At least it's just for ritual purposes. I mean, what's the ritual exactly? Do they go into detail?
I don't know, trying to attain 90-minute orgasms? I have no idea. Like, what is the... Like, Billy Bob and Angelina Jolie had vials of each other's blood, but I don't remember them drinking each other's blood. So this is bizarre.
This is blowing my mind, man. I don't know what to think of that. Maybe on the set of Jennifer's Body, she just snapped or something.
Full method.
Full method.
Yeah, she's hoping that there's going to be a requel or a sequel, and she just wants to be in character, right? So she's prepping.
Jennifer, would it be called Jennifer's Fetus?
Dude, I don't. Hey, my first question though, Josh, when I read this story was, Machine Gun Kelly is a major pop star right now, and yes, they're dating and everything, but how does she know that he's not out having sex with groupies and stuff? So she's drinking his blood. Did she make him get tested before she drank said blood?
Maybe they're hardlining penicillin or something.
I don't know, man.
They do the ritual. I don't know what the ritual is. What is for ritual purposes only? What is the ritual? Is it church?
Trying to revive
a religious thing?
Trying to revive her fucking stalled career because she hasn't done anything like big since like Transformers 8. I don't like what is. She hasn't done anything in like 10 years except for date Machine Gun Kelly. They're like, we're gonna bring her back. Like, we're bringing her career back. And Megan Fox, if you watch the show, I love everything you've done. I'm not trying to be a dick. We want to know what you guys are doing.
And I'm really looking forward to Jennifer's Body too. Jennifer's Body has really gone downhill. Damn.
I have, dude. Transformers 9, whatever they're trying to plot. Hey, maybe Shia LaBeouf needs to drink some of that too, because he hasn't. I mean, Honey Boy was pretty good, right? He's done a few things, but maybe he needs to start drinking Machine Gun Kelly's blood too.
Yeah, I thought Harrison Ford. I thought he was an amazing. I thought at the time Shia LaBeouf could do the Indiana Jones thing. I really did. I enjoyed the last Indiana Jones movie they made. Everybody hates it. A big reason is because the alien things were like, but all the other ones were like biblical artifacts and stuff, and I'm like, yes, and biblical artifacts are just as much fantasy as aliens or interdimensional beings. It's still fantastical things. It's still mystical things that can't be proven one way or the other. So to me, it's no different than the Ark of the Covenant, or whatever. I like the last one. I feel bad that Shia LaBeouf went nuts or whatever he did, but I think he could have really done something with himself, because he really took separated himself from that, I thought he could have been an action star. He could have taken over the Indiana Jones franchise. Maybe he needs to drink some Machine Gun blood.
He had a lot of issues with substance abuse. He heavy drinking. He got into some stuff with like plagiarizing some screen. He like took people's screenplays and like changed them just enough to where it was his, and then people found out. They're like, hey, this is definitely somebody else's work. Like, so he did a few weird things, and he's working his way back into the good graces of Hollywood. But he was kind of like almost blacklisted there for a little bit. Like, he was also reported to be very hard to work with. So yeah. I like Shia LaBeouf. I always have. I watched him on Even Stevens. I think he's very charismatic. He's really funny. And I hope Shia LaBeouf has a full career comeback.
I hope. I do too. I think he was great, man. I even liked him in Dumb and Dumberer. Okay, he was one of the best parts of that movie. I just I hate that right after Indiana Jones, whatever, he went out and did like the public urination thing or whatever. That really put him on the blacklist.
Yeah, he did a lot of he did a lot of things that brought attention to himself in the wrong way. So hopefully Shia LaBeouf can get some of that Machine Gun Kelly blood in his system, and all things will be turned around.
Okay, did you hear about, let's see, I want to make sure I get the comedian's name right since you're talking about plagiarism. Carlos Mencia is a big joke stealer. He went on this show and admitted to going out and watching young up-and-coming comedians and stealing their material because they couldn't do anything about it. You know, like he's taking like these people that could have a real future. He's destroying their future, and he's proud of doing that to further his.
I had heard about Mencia stealing material almost 10 years ago because Joe Rogan confronted him at a comedy show and said, "You're stealing all these people's shit," and like called him out on it in front of everybody at the show. And at the time, Joe Rogan wasn't exactly Joe Rogan now, right? Mencia was way bigger at the time because there was Mind of Mencia, which was on Comedy Central, and he was just way more known and popular. So Joe Rogan doing that was almost like career suicide for Joe. Well, the tables have turned drastically because Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast in the world. Joe Rogan comments on UFC. Joe Rogan does everything. Okay, Joe Rogan's hugely popular. And Joe Rogan still is like, hey, Mencia is a piece of shit. Like, he stole that. It's like stealing someone's material is basically like stealing their money because that's how they make their living. So, go ahead. What?
He made a joke. I mean, he made a. I'm saying I agree with you. He stole a lot of money from these people.
Yeah.
Because especially when he's bragging about stealing from up and coming comedians, you know, if I didn't do that, people would do it to the people do it to me. Blah blah. Blah. He doesn't. These people. He doesn't give them a chance. He sees somebody with a lot of talent for themselves and steals their shit before they can do anything with it. You know, that's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's not. He's the Trax douche of the night, Carlos Mencia.
Yes, Shia LaBeouf shouldn't have plagiarized. That's not cool either. But out of the two, if one of them's going to get a resurgence, I would rather it be Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And you know what? Let's get into the last story of the night, the last story of the episode. You ready, Josh?
I'm sad, but okay.
I know this episode's flying by. So, this is kind of a good story. A French nun was recently named the world's oldest person at 118 years and 73 days. Guinness Book of World Records, said Sister Andre, a nun born Lucille Rendon on February 11th, 1904, was officially dubbed the oldest living person after Japanese woman Kane Tanaka passed away at the age of 119 years and 107 days. The nun, who is partially deaf and uses a wheelchair, said she still she still tries to keep her mind sharp and active. The people at the convent, they get her up at 7 a.m. and give her breakfast, and then they put her at her desk where she stays busy with little things throughout the day. What are the little things that she stays busy with? All right, don't die. Your job is don't die. I want you to breathe, live, exist today.
I'm getting something from our producers here. There's a new
Yeah.
news story. The nun that you're speaking of has just been arrested for killing a 119-year-old Japanese woman in an attempt to claim the title of oldest living human.
Well, if she gets a life sentence, it might only end up being like one night. She could be dead at any time.
What's that? It's one of the little things she does during the day.
Yeah.
She's a sniper.
Wow. Dude, when she was 80, right? When she was 80 in 1983, I was born. She was 80 in 1983.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
What's her secret? Campbell's? Remember the Campbell's commercials with like the 20-year-olds that were like 90 or whatever?
I don't know. Her secret is not sinning, I guess. She's a nun, so she doesn't have sin weighing her soul down. No, and she also apparently drinks a glass of wine every day.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Dude, I don't really know what to say about that. 180 years old when I was born.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's insane, man. You got anything else to say, or anything before we end the show?
No, man. Just congratulations. Wow.
Yeah.
That's 118 years. That's crazy. I mean, she's going to have to really do a lot more things to beat people from the Bible that were like 900 years old and stuff. But you know, 118. That's not a small feat. So.
No, that's fantastic, man. We salute you.
Yeah, we salute your shorts. And great show, great Crystal Pepsi, great co-host,
great life, great drinking blood, great orgasms that last 90 minutes. Just a hell of a show, Josh.
A lot of ground.
Yeah, let's end the show.
All right, this has been Josh LaRue,
and I'm Alex Vanover.
Say goodnight, Alex.
Good night, Alex.
Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Yeah, mahalo, dog.
Before we go, though, Alex. I know you're all the way up in Oregon. But I wanted to give you one of these. Flamin' Hot Mountain Dews. So here you go.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
awesome.
Man.
No problem. No problem.
Josh and Alex got the groove. Fun facts making the headlines move. Sports and horror keep it tight. Warrior fuel for the fight. Pro wrestling on the screen. Spin the facts like a dream. Headlines rocking day and night. Trax team out of sight. Jumpin' Jeff says, yep, alright. Tony laughs with pure delight. Trax action, news and gear. Every story crystal clear. Tune in for your daily dose. Josh and Alex coming close. From pro sports to ghastly scenes, they're the newscast kings and queens.